Hey there viewers, my name's Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. If you're watching this live, you may notice that we're a wee bit late today, just a tad of course, but unfortunately had some important family stuff that I needed to attend to, went a little bit long, but hey, we're here now, so let's get ready to hop into some of the usual. We're into DCSS, of course, and trying to get a win with every species in the game. It's been a little bit rough with Deep Elf, to say the least. Maybe even being a little bit generous in that statement or framing there. But, of course, today's a new day, another opportunity, a fresh start, to try our very best to get through in one piece. So, with that in mind, I guess we can just hop into it here. Hey Brain, thank you so much, appreciate the lurk always. Okie dokie. As for name, I randomly remembered another elf name from pop culture, so I guess that's what we'll go with for now until something better comes to mind, or more likely, a viewer gives us a much better example of a name here. And there's also the question of how we wish to start. We were fooling around a little bit last time, trying some hunter runs, trying a warper at the end, I believe. And so this time around, let's go with something a bit more traditional. Probably one of the casting groups here. Might just go in with Conjurer. We went through a few different elemental schools last couple of times, really, that last few sessions that we've been a part of. But I might go for just the old classic, the standard to which all wizards measure themselves. And try out Conjurer. It's a really nice start. You get a lot of good utility just in that starting book, so even if you don't find anything for a really long time, you're generally gonna do okay. And hey Heckley, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Let's try it out, shall we? Conjurer start. Ooh, I do love that robe. That's a beautiful shade of purple. So let's hope that bodes well for our future here. And we'll definitely do some of the usual training stuff. As always, make sure our auto pickup is just grabbing things pretty generally across the board, a smorgasbord of throwable items, just in case we run out of mana early. Hopefully, we never have to use them. That's the ideal situation anyway. And of course, we can also drop the quick morgue file real quick so we can pop in here and steal the seed. This is just in case any of you lovely folk want to try joining along from at home, see how you fare in the exact same dungeon setup and all that fantastic stuff. Feel free to do so with the seed on the screen now. And alrighty, again, a bit of a late start, but let's put nose to the grindstone and get going here, shall we? Early on, be relatively straightforward with Magic Dart, don't have anything too exciting going on. One thing I should do is almost definitely run and grab this Falchion real quick. Let's equip that just so we have something in hand, some kind of sharp implement. Should do alright for us to start out here. And even though I do love this robe, don't get me wrong, we will grab some leather armor as a potential change in the future. And me oh my, despite the issues that we've had in attempting to run Deep Elf so far, you gotta love the fact that at level 1, sorry, not even level 2 yet, you start with 6 magic. Absolutely incredible. Definitely puts you in a quite a bit better position compared to the majority of spellcasters in the game. You can actually reliably use your Magic Dart for the most part. And thank you so much, Egley, for the 3 months in a row. I appreciate it a whole lot. Always lovely to have you around, with or without fiduciary support, but I do appreciate you helping us out here, showing some love and support, though you always do, in a fantastic way. Okie dokie. Pretty straightforward start, which is all that we could ask for today. I don't know, I'm trying not to make it too readily apparent in my outward presentation, but I will admit, fair and square, that I am absolutely exhausted today. You appreciate that fancy vocab word? Fantastic. Yes. Ooh, laptop's gonna be making Windows noises. Let's definitely mute that. But always happy to try and slip in fancy words every once in a while. Okie dokie. Now I just have to find ways to fit fiduciary into every single stream I do so that everyone will think that I'm sophisticated and intelligent, when really, if you've watched me play the game to any reasonable amount of time or for any reasonable amount of time, you know that that is not exactly the fact of the matter. But okie dokie, we've hit level 2, so I'll definitely learn Searing Ray. It's a fantastic early spell here, just for that amplifying damage on the spot. I'm actually quite scared, or I was quite scared, that we didn't have it before running across that first adder, because generally I like to have Searing Ray online before we got that. Kind of smoke coming our way, but hey, managed to make it through with the magic dart alright. Can't really complain. You got 6 clowns in the Zot 1 entrance. That's rather rude. Ooh, geez. That is definitely rough, especially since I believe that you were mentioning a while back some interesting issues with the clowns, because you never know what they're going to do. Those chaos effects can be a real pain in the butt. But okie dokie, we do find a shrine to Vehemet early. I was debating who we were going to go today in general. I mean, Gozeg kind of always is on the edge of the brain whenever I talk about it, but finding a Vehemet altar this early, I don't think I can say no to fortune like that. So let's just take a kneel here real quick, and we'll start worshipping that son of a gun. Nice and early on in the run. Hopefully does a little bit more work for us this time around compared to how the last few runs have gone, even though I'm sure that Vehemet will do just fine and will be exceptionally helpful. And all it takes is a nice positive attitude, some manifestation of our own hopes and dreams. We should be okay. Fortunately, you're a Deep Dwarf of Jivia. It's pretty strong. You recommend Jivia when I get to Deep Dwarf? Interesting, yeah, it'll be a very fascinating time, shall we say. Deep Dwarf, fairly powerful. That damage shaving reduction is really nice, but it'll be a mix of a species that I don't have a heck of a lot of practice in. I've tried a couple, let's call them pseudo speedruns in the past, where I try and use the Deep Dwarf strategy just to see how it goes and all that good stuff. But don't have a lot of experience there, and I think, as I mentioned fairly recently on stream here, I've never actually worshipped Jivia before, so what better time to get a little fancy, get a little creative, and try out some new stuff. But okie dokie, before I head down towards the Ice Beast here, I was debating what to train. I probably should have started training translocations and or hexes a little bit in the back end. These would at least be fully castable, if not with the greatest spell power at our current level and state of our skills. But regardless, we will want to know both of them, so I might as well do so. It's not like we have any other spell books that are competing for our attention at the moment. And just block you off, and let's try to get a little bit of skill in either department. Spellcasting, we'll pause at 9 once it gets there. Let's turn both of these on, bring them up to 4, something like that. Should be fairly quick. And we'll just see how she goes, shall we? Especially that hexes with the +3 aptitude is going to be no problem whatsoever, as long as we don't run into any run-changing, run-ending issues, I guess. And an iguana definitely poses the risk of being just such. So let's do some Searing Ray. Oof, unfortunately, didn't quite get the damage output I was hoping for. So what do we wish to do here? We could risk holding out another couple of Searing Rays, just trying to deal enough damage in the next couple of hits to make it by. It is just essentially a 50-50 shot in order to try it. And yeah, Peacock, the D3 Ice Beast is super rough. Especially when our only one that we got is the Ice Blast, but we'll be leaving them alone for now. Honestly, this iguana, I should have mentioned right off the bat how scary I was finding it and probably just ran away and gone to a different stairwell, but I was hoping that Searing Ray would do the trick. I guess the alternative here is IMB with a 28% failure rate. If it does fail, it's going to go pretty poorly for us. But if it doesn't, it definitely saves our life and is a better success rate than just hoping, crossing our fingers, and wishing that the iguana misses us with the next swipe of its claws. I don't know if you've seen many iguanas in real life, but their claws are nasty, huge, hooked things, so you definitely don't want to be clipped by those, especially as a frail little deep elf. But let's do it. It's potentially lethal to miscast. All part of the risk that we take for becoming a wizard in the first place. Fantastic. Never a doubt in my mind, of course. All perfectly according to plan. A little bit of risk to sensationalize the content for the audience. And let's just get back on the road. Never didn't have it indeed. Was not scared, not even a little bit. And now we're definitely going to start sitting a little bit pretty here. Hopefully. Providing that this wizard doesn't truly mess us up, because they shouldn't. I also like that our magic dart hit something invisible, but didn't deal any damage. I'm very curious how we knew that was the case, seeing as how they were invisible. Not seeing a whole lot there, if I'm being honest with you, Buddy the Elf. But I'll take their word for it, and it did seem to all work out in the long run. That's all that really matters. Never did not have it. Yes, the tricky double negatives there. Relaying potentially my true feelings on the matter. I always find it funny that sometimes I say things on stream that does not register whatsoever in my head. I think one time I was editing videos to throw into YouTube later, and I noticed that I kept mentioning that I have 5 health, when I was definitely talking about strength at the time. I was at full health, and talking about like encumbrance rating on armor or something. But the most offensive version of it that I've had so far, or at least that I've caught, because that's the tricky part, is who knows how many times I have messed up in the past without even registering it for a moment. But I think a viewer came into chat and said something like, "Oh, I hate it when that happens, it's such a rough shot." And I said, "Oh yeah, you said it right there. I could not disagree with that more," is what I said out loud. I of course meant to say I couldn't agree with that more, but whoopsie daisies, just said the complete opposite. Hopefully didn't lose any friends or something along those lines, because I definitely meant to be compatriots with that person, be on the same page, but I'm sure it was all good at the end. Wouldn't be the first nor the last time that I say something completely off base when meaning to say something fairly normal and regular. I'd like if we pushed you back. Got a bit lucky there. The ogre just completely missed us with the strike. Otherwise, we would have been in a tough spot. Whenever you take a look at the damage potential on an enemy, and just their hit without including their weapon stats is already enough to lethally murder you. Maybe a bit of a redundant statement there, but I'll stand by it. Regardless, happy to get the miss, and hopefully won't be pulling anything quite that risky in the future. At least if we can avoid it. This is our time to shine, our chance to potentially stay alive. Oops, not trying to auto-explore games, sorry, just trying to blast that necrophage to Kingdom Come. Fantastic stuff. Okie dokie. I guess the one maybe saving grace, earlier I mentioned the idea that I like using Searing Ray against adders. The one caveat to that is that Magic Dart does not miss. Searing Ray can definitely miss, so it does a little bit more damage. It's a little bit, or it's nice and cheap in terms of mana cost, but definitely not the be-all end-all, and good to keep an eye out for the future. You hate being lethally killed to death? Honestly, just the worst kind of to the death. Absolutely. Could not agree with you more. Okie dokie. These rays are going to be brutal. The one saving grace is IMB, if we can actually get them shoved off. The issue there is that they occasionally stack up a little bit too much on top of each other, and that will give us a tricky time, especially as we start to get surrounded. I think they deal 10 damage and cause poisoning, a potential poisoning, I should say. But let's drink something here. Heal wounds is absolutely fantastic. Now, what can we potentially do? I wanted to try and get a situation oriented here where we could use Ice Blast to our best effect. It's nice on these squishy little sons of guns. But the main issue is that they're very fast, so it gets pretty tricky to arrange them in such a way as we run for our dear lives. But getting all those heal wounds potions definitely helps out, so maybe we'll just throw one blast behind us, try and take out this bee as soon as possible. I think I will go for one more. And then, for the bees in front of us, and start with the flame burst, I'm hoping to be able to run away from this ogre here, but it's going to be tricky. Ooh, they didn't step towards us. Fantastic. So never mind. Everything just happened to work out perfectly. No lethally being killed to death today. Fantastic. And let's just... Did you stop me just because of how loudly the door creaked? Game really wanted us to be aware of such things, just in case it was relevant, which I guess is good. Whoa, geez. So many orc priests. And more. Hello, friends. What are you all doing? Was there a convention, maybe? Some kind of strategy meeting for all the followers, the most devout followers of BO, I should say. This is an anti-magic axe, so I probably should be slightly more cautious in how we take care of it. Magic dart's not quite going to do the trick on their own. But let's see, now can we take an iguana no problem? At least with less problems. Got a little bit lucky there. Glad you appreciate the name Safid. Pretty much anytime you're not here to give some fantastic puns or extremely clever names, I usually will just resort to coming up with the first pop culture reference that comes to my mind. What's an elf? Any elf, really. And that's where we landed. Definitely a classic. No, I'm definitely a little bit of a later convert to the movie Elf. Still don't watch it religiously every Christmas or anything like that, but I definitely know a lot of people that do. Definitely hugely popular in its own right. Fantastic. As we take out the scorpion, slightly concerned about that. I'm also very concerned about whenever we end up popping into these electric eels. I guess it's a bit of an optional section, or an optional area, as we can see from the lovely doors here. Sorry, I was spending a bit of time with your wife. You know how it is. You like her. I'm happy to hear it. Very glad to hear that. And never a problem whatsoever. In fact, I encourage spending time away from the stream with some fantastic people that you know and love. It's always a good time. Always a good idea. In fact, that was partially what I was doing in order to be so late to the stream myself. You actually have barely missed anything, because I too had some loved ones I was spending time with. I was babysitting my fantastic 2 nephews for a family emergency. Ended up going a wee bit late, but it was definitely nice to get to see them a little bit. And so it'd be awfully hypocritical if I judged you for that. Also, forgot that these buddies would shoot me through a plant. Am I in sight here? I'm worried that I am, because usually you can kind of peer around corners just a wee bit. Unfortunately, I haven't done a great job in IDing everything. The flip side, or the other issue, I guess, not the flip side, unfortunately, is that even a heal wounds potion might not do the trick. We're taking potentially 36 damage total. Oof, this might be an early end to an otherwise promising start. What else is new? Sounds like I'm just playing DCSS again. What are kids into these days? Not a whole lot. They're still pretty young. So largely it was having, what is it called? Some kids show in the background that I'm blanking on the name right now. But mostly just lovely little sing-songs and nursery rhymes, all that good stuff. The other thing was definitely trying to get my nephew into watching some more nature documentary stuff, because he absolutely loves animals and he loves sharks but is deeply afraid of them. So my wife was trying to sit down on the couch and watch a few different, I think, Our Planet clips with sea animals, so that was super cute and fantastic. Eels are brutal, man. You lost a run earlier to ducking too far around the corner and finding 3 of them. Yes, too often have I found myself in the same boat. But let's just take a step. Yep. I was afraid that that might be the case. What I probably should have done there was A, not walk into the room like a complete fool. I know that I didn't want to shoot through the plants, but there's gotta be a better way. And there definitely is. Just fulminate prism. Duck behind the corner. Never had to risk ourselves whatsoever. It was just completely foolish of me. But again, definitely on brand. Can't complain too much. And besides, it's the first run of the day. Need to shake off the pressure. I just feel kind of bad for wasting a name Buddy and immediately losing them, because I did not think of extra elf names today. So I'm going to have to dive deep into the memory here. Or, alternatively, thank you, Safid, coming in for the rescue here. So 2 names here. We can have LF, or D&D Classic is Melf the Elf, as in Melf's Acid Arrow. Nice. Name comes from a player writing down M to make, or M for make and Elf for race, and getting Melf. Fantastic. Let's go for it. Besides, I always like me a little Melf's Acid Arrow. Eels are off the buddies list. Oh, for sure. Never forgiving those sons of guns. And you've been loving Summoner on low HP characters? Do you know what, let's try it out. I haven't really experimented too much with new Summoner, so it could definitely be a good time. So let's do it. Melf the Elf the Summoner. Starting to have too many qualifiers after the name, but maybe we're some kind of regent. Most royalty seems to always have a ridiculous list of names, or titles, I guess, after the fact, so we'll fit right in those circles. And okie dokie, whoopsie daisies, let's not do that. That is a much better start. Tipping some of these off, or ticking rather. Let's see what's in our book. Call Imp, Call Canine Familiar, Guardian Golem, and Lightning Spire. Lightning Spire used to be super strong back in the day. It's a little bit tricky to use now just because you can't decide where to place it, so in certain situations, you can end up completely cutting off your own avenue of escape and putting yourself in a bit of a bind, shall we say. But excited to try some of these buddies out. I think we will stick with that training retinue, or selection, I guess. Definitely get auto pickup or sorted, and drop a quick morgue file here. Because as always, and I'm sure with how often we've been dying as elf, you've gotten very used to the whole spiel by now, but let's say it together, shall we? If you lovely folk want to play along at home, definitely feel free to steal a seat from the screen here and see how you fare in the same dungeon. Always fantastic. But we'd never misposition a Lightning Spire. How could we? We're the luckiest person alive, so exactly. I saw a magic dagger and got very excited. Unfortunately, not sure how to feel about distortion there. Definitely don't really want to equip it at the risk of making a mistake and getting ourselves sent to the abyss before our time. Let's definitely just keep an army of small mammals around. I'd hope that more quokkas, please. And yes, please attack while wielding nothing. I unfortunately can't really afford to switch over to our dagger here. And fantastic. We can just walk away a wee bit, let the rats, the tiny mammals, finish off these sons of guns. And that's fantastic. So I believe with a couple of these spells, we can have up to 2 target friends online at any given moment. But in general, the majority of summoning spells have been changed to only allow 1 summon at a time. And I'm excited to have to get a wee bit creative with how we bring our armies together. Double Quokka is absolutely fantastic. I'll actually try and lead the cockroach out so you can both actually be doing some active work here. Ooh, and a giant spike club. It's almost too bad that we're not already on ogre. If we had 1 deep elf by now, then we would have been in a pretty sweet spot at the start of a run. But I'm sure we'll just get lucky again next time, right? Can you shout to give orders? You can. So by pressing T, you're able to pull up the talk menu here, and that's where you can order them to attack. Retreat just sends them off in a certain direction, so I'll often use that, especially when I'm an Orc of BO and I want to keep my lovely followers alive. Always important. But as well, oftentimes when I charm an enemy that's too strong for me to fight, I just tell them to, retreat somewhere in that general direction, and I run the opposite way, and we usually end up all right. It's also very useful if we have our allies behind us and we don't want them to swap with us and immediately get killed. Can definitely yell and try and get some leeway in that way. That's why I'm reminding my summons to attack. In general, they'll do pretty well for attacking, especially if you're fighting something. The moment that you attack a target, I think a lot of the summons will always join in to help out. But sometimes it's nice just to get the ball rolling ourselves. Also, if the enemy's in sight when our friends are summoned, I think that counts. Like this batch, if we didn't miss out or lose our sight lines, should be attacking. Fantastic. Hey, 9th, how's it going? 0.29 changes are already wild. I'm glad to hear it. I like when the game keeps nice and fresh. I've heard a little bit from Colgate on stream here. Some of the changes, specifically a lot of the ranged weapon changes we've heard about because we were running a few of those characters earlier. But always love when there are interesting changes afoot, and excited to see where the game goes. I still need a little bit of time to let 0.28 sink in. I think that's what I get for not playing on the trunk servers and instead just coming in after the fact to these various versions. I definitely always want to take a little bit of time to let it sink in, let everything groove out. Especially with 0.28 here, because I do feel like it got pretty difficult. Relative, of course, relative to how it was. Always pretty difficult for her, very difficult even for a beginner. But I felt even with my experience in the game, I was having trouble at first with 0.28. Hoping that we're slowly but surely getting our feet under us, getting our groove on, and figuring out how to make everything tick. And it helps to get to try out some of the new things. 0.26 is easy mode compared to these new versions, definitely. Yeah, first it was the melee changes, and then a whole bunch of little shifts. I mean, the S branch section of the game now is in a really rough spot, which I find to be a good thing in general, and I do enjoy the difficulty of it, but definitely would have to agree with you there. Let's get Summon K9 online next. I don't think I'll worry too much about imps, but we'll see if I end up changing my mind there. You will say, Melf is styling. No problems whatsoever. I didn't actually realize you could get Quokkas with Summon Small Mammal, rather. Pretty fantastic. But okie dokie, let's maybe bring in some dogs to help out here as we continue to struggle and fight our way through. Did we kill the first adder? I thought there were multiple adders, though I could be wrong. Should also check to see if I'm able to have 2 dogs at once, because I'm not 100% sure in that regard. But there we go, we can all just gang up together. This is kind of an ideal situation, even though our hound will be taking damage from enemies that we can't see, so that's never a great thing. But all 3 of us hitting a single target, fantastic. Only 1 doggy at a time. I was afraid that might be the case, which is why I held off. summoning another one. Didn't want to kick our current dog out of the running immediately. Please fight. And keep it up. Fantastic work. What a good boy. Who's the cutest adder slayer out there? You are. But absolutely fantastic. It's nice that I can actually reliably let all my summons do all the hard work for us and still get all the sweet experience myself. That's the kind of way I like to live my life. It's all about delegating tasks to other people and being as lazy as humanly possible. Absolutely fantastic. Why I outsource all my character names and joke ideas from chat. Why do any work when I can just steal all the credit from chat, right? Just doing my best impression of a Twitch streamer right now, playing the Summoner build. Preach. All dogs go to heaven after they send your enemies to hell. Definitely. Also, All Dogs Go to Heaven, super creepy movie. Can't believe I watched it as a kid and didn't get absolutely terrified. The hell sequence is brutal. You managed to beat the 6 clowns, Colgate, but you got a terrible amount of stat drain. Oof, I'm sorry to hear it. Hopefully nothing's at 0. You're not in a collapsed state or anything. I feel like that's something that has been an issue recently for me. Not that I'm bitter about it or anything like that. No, not at all. The more positive or optimistic slant on that, of course, was our orb run with our genie, where from Zot 5 until the end of the game, we were just consistently in at minus, I forget what we got to, but it was like -3 or -4 strength, something ridiculous like that. Made for an interesting orb run at the very least, can't argue that. Maybe less than ideal, but sure was fun. And a wee bit silly as well. Also, finally got our first wolf out of Summon Canines, so that is absolutely brilliant. Hopefully, we can see that a little bit more often as we continue moving forward. And you know what? I think I will actually switch to my spear. Probably should have done it earlier, but polearms, always pretty solid, but especially on a summoner character, we of course can attack past our lovely friends, and so we don't have to be quite as lazy as we once were. I mean, sure, I'm not going to do any hard work or anything like that. That's what summons are for, but can at the very least be poking a couple of holes in our foes as they whittle away in front of our lovely army. Okie dokie. Not too bad here. Staves of Summoning, do they still exist? Feel like it's been forever since you've seen one. I would have to say I'm in the same boat, where if they do exist, I've just not come across them in such a long time. So I would assume that they don't exist anymore. But I could be wrong. Oh, geez Louise. Here we are again. That was a painful smite right there. They don't exist anymore. Thank you, Ninth, for coming in and saving us there. Interesting, though. Also, what happened here? One of our enemies must have a scroll of summoning on them. I guess we could quickly pop in here and take a look. Wisps of shadow swirl around the orc priest. So yes, I do believe one of these orc priests read a book of summoning. Unfortunately, this buddy is potentially gonna smite us again. I was hoping that they'd be a step behind. If they're at the edge of your range, then they're always taking their turn to keep up with you rather than getting that single smite in. But the only other option would be to cross our fingers and hope we get a healing potion as they gain on us one step and still potentially have a couple of smites worth of turns. So unfortunately, maybe in a similar boat to last time, weirdly enough, where I just have to take a step back, hope that it all goes well, and of course we never didn't have it, so let's do it. Please fall back. I was hoping they'd random energy and be at the edge of vision, so I wasn't in this constant state of panic. Alternatively, we could try reading a random scroll and hope for blink, but it's not very likely that we'd see that. What happened is that I didn't worship the best god. Yes, VO is just shaking their finger at us, letting us know that we're missing out, not becoming the one true messiah. So, highly deserved, Melf, highly deserved. Only health annoyance with a Deep Dwarf and Jivia is that auto-explore doesn't rest to full health before moving, so you need to wait, then explore if you want to go around with full health. Yeah, so I'll have to take another look at Jivia. Because I don't remember a healing ability there. Might be new. I might just be completely wrong because, hey, I've never worshipped them before, so what the heck am I talking about? Very interesting. Oh, I think I'll just take a step. Whoa. Wait, we got smote for no damage? That doesn't seem right. I thought it was a minimum of 7. Jivia did get reworked in that version. Big change. You want to try the new one, but you haven't had a good character for that yet? Oh, very cool. I definitely, I have not experienced Jivia myself in the past, but that sounds fun. I am very much concerned about this ball python, so let's bring in a hound. I think it's worth the risk. And holy moly, we are somehow still alive. I was waiting for an orc priest to come around and meet us at the stairs suddenly, jump out, give us the scare of a lifetime. But absolutely fantastic. You can't believe I survived that. Wow, I don't think that was deserved. We did get smote while we were at 3 health. That should have been death, 100%. So maybe we're the chosen one? Do we just have extremely strong protagonist energy? Different hairstyle, different hair color maybe? That's how you always find the protagonists in most animated things. But heavy protagonist energy, which means we can't die. So profit? Melf can't die is the chosen one? Exactly. Oh gosh. I would like to get that priest killed as soon as possible. One more smite and we're potentially dead. Oh, getting confused. Also very bad. I'll give you that one for free as we drink attraction and then mutation. All bad ones. Especially you, friend. Oof. Oh no. Potion of Curing came second, so I guess that's something. But... please take a turn to smite me so we gain a step here. Could die from a single smite, but I'd hope not. Oh no. Bad blink. Feel less attractive to monsters? Oh, well that's a shame, too bad. I'm sure it's just a bad hair day or something. Don't get down on yourself, Mel. You're super attractive. Any monster would be lucky to have you. Let's be honest. Plot armor kicked in. It's that easy, folks. Just don't die, forehead. I'm worried that the wizard has stepped in next to us. My only issue with using Ice Blast here. If we have an invisible wizard, we might be dead. That's 3d7. Have like a 4 health bubble there. I'm sure we'll be fine. Chosen one to make us suffer. Oh, that's just the name of the game here, really, is it not? Let's go to a different stairwell. Also, I didn't fully kick in that we got a -2 strength mutation. Being at 3 strength, I don't see how that could possibly come back to kick us in the butt. It's not like, again, we recently died due to falling below 0 strength. Looking at you, game. But we'll be fine with only 3. Honestly, the issue with 5 was that I felt like I had too much. So much better here. If I had 20,000 Zot clock with you and you couldn't say no, what would we do? The DCSS version of the... What's the word I'm looking... Not... All I could think of was Forsaken Island, but that's not right. Deserted Island. That's what we all call those, of course. Oh, geez Louise. That's just you hitting us with your flail. That wasn't even a BO thing, hey? How about that? Well, I can kind of cheat you out for a moment here. Please, keep just dancing with me. Running away is bad. Smiting, exactly. That's why we're kind of peeking around the corners here, trying to make it sure that they always have to use their turn to take the step. This son of a gun kind of ruined my vibe, I'm gonna be honest with you. So that's not great. Less than ideal, shall we say. We do have our Ice Blast wand, so we could just leave our Hound to fend off here, bring in another summon. Now you 15 health is unfortunately more than I would like, but never didn't have it. Only need 1 health. Health is a resource after all, so 1 more Ice Blast does the trick. Beautiful. Make sure the summons are between us and our new friend here. Oh gosh. Slightly worried about taking steps any which way. But that's bad too. Make sure our summons are between us and the wizard if possible. That's not great. Our Hound can see invisible at least, so that's something. Thank you so much, NetDancer, for the follow. I appreciate it. Always lovely to see a new face. Welcome, of course. Welcome. Happy to have you. Well, let's walk in here ourselves, and we can try and help out against the invisible wizard. There we go. Oh my gosh, never a dull moment, hey? Well, hello, priest. Unfortunately, we can't afford to take the 1 turn that it would require to send our Hound off towards this son of gun, so instead, we're just going to hope that our priest friend, our new buddy here, doesn't random energy towards us as we very carefully and without a single iota of fear make our way towards the stairs. I don't like, actually, that we've lost our new priest. Huh. Love seeing DCSS content. Fantastic. Love providing DCSS content. Love playing on air here. Always a lot of fun. Play a summoner, they said. It's easy mode, they said. Right? I thought my summons would be the ones getting hurt, yet here I am, just constantly at low health. What's up with that? I feel like I've been lied to. Where's all the free damage and meat shields?